Wemeli kaliang persya nagaseng TMCU Dr. Mukul Sangma ulong ba kajing punkut no sendet ya kador bar mang teka mentagasngi kapen I ya kajingkiar jong kasorka na kajingkit kli kamtam hagabaide kador bar tingka kabapura ulong ba kajing pelengkot ya kapor ban yatai hapo kajing dorbar kapen I syai kedar ba kasorkar kam don ya kajingkit kli na kam tau pait ba kani kejingkran Wemeli kaliang persya kalong hadin ba ulampang ulapun kut no ya kador bar mang teka mentagasngi kapasan wat haba kidang don kimat kepenyatai pelawan ra de Emily kamtam na kaliang persya Dr. Mukul ulong bakat kum kejing penbet ya kesngi long dorbar tang ars ngi lailat banyak reni kimat ba wan ra de Emily bat wat kikam jong sorka ru la penlengkot ya kapor
and at the same time decided to ensure that there is a democratic form of governance is based on the fact that democracy is considered as the best form of governance. People are still struggling, nations who are yet to have democracy. You see how desperately people are still, the citizens of such nations are still fighting for democracy. There's a reason, the core values of democracy revolves around the form of governance where the Council of Ministers is accountable to the legislature. That's the spirit. Now, if you go by the trend of what has been seen today, and also the overall tendency to shrink the duration available for a healthy discussion, deliberation, and debate. The whole indication is reflective of their tendency to run away from being accountable. The responsibility of being accountable, particularly in a session when we are passing a full budget. Please remember that this session is not a budget for vote on account. It is a full budget session for passing a full budget. Therefore, enough discussion and deliberation to instill in the mind of the people of the state the confidence. Accountability to legislature means accountability to people. So along with the power and authority comes a responsibility. Therefore, it is only reflective of their predetermined intent to run away from the sense of responsibility and accountability. And it is not something which is in sync with the spirit of the core values of democracy which we strive to sustain and preserve. It is expected that if the session is very short, look at the calendar of the session. You have only 2 days allocated for private members' business. And even when you're looking at the government's business, you have only 1 day to clear the supplementary demands. Then you have 1 day to discuss budget. And how much time is available for the House to scrutinize? It's not a question of the responsibility of individual members of the August House. Is a responsibility that is expected from the whole House, the August House, meaning all the members of the August House, including members of the ruling and the members of the opposition. As we say, that the Council of Ministers shall be accountable to the legislature. Legislature include, in respect of Meghalaya, all the members of this August House. So therefore, where is that scope to allow all those important demands for grants? The important demands for grants, which proposes to utilize the resources of the state's exchequer from the consolidated fund of the state. That means indirectly from public money. Everything has to be properly scrutinized and mandated and voted. Because for every single naya paisa that will be spent by any department of the government has to be voted by the House. So where is the scope of scrutiny? If in absence of scrutiny, this trend becomes something as a part of practice and convention, then it doesn't augur well for the state. Therefore, we must understand our sense of responsibility towards the state, towards the people. Our whole focus should revolve around the larger interests of the people and protecting the interests of the state. Now, protecting the interests of the state calls for all the members of this August House to ensure that every single Naya Paisa that is proposed to be voted by the House is subjected to appropriate exhaustive scrutiny. In absence of that, it implies only it is reflective of their malified intent. Immediately after the elections are over, we understand that okay, if the full budget is to be passed within the financial year, meaning before the 31st March of the current financial year, then you already have a very limited time. Therefore, inconsistent with our practice and convention and tradition, what we do is on the first day, the first budget session is usually a vote on account. Then we subsequently come back with a full budget session for passing a full budget. But in the instant case, if they have decided, okay, we would like to pass a full budget prior to the end of the financial year, yes, we welcome it. But then there has been instance in the past, you can recollect the whole proceeding of this August House in the preceding years. What happened then? Then there is an understanding amongst the different political parties. And this particular issue is always discussed in the Business Advisory Committee. And keeping in mind the need for ensuring that every proposal of the government, every proposal of the departments are put to scrutiny in the larger interest of the people and with an intent to protect the interests of the state. Therefore, enough time is given even through extension of time. You have seen in the past, we have always extended the time. We all have, as per the rules of procedure and conduct of business, a limited time. The House shall transact its business between 10 to 2 o'clock, the normal days. But from 10 to 2 o'clock on Fridays, we know that. But then we have always had extension of time in order to provide that additional space which is required in the event of a session which is considered very short. So this is what is inconsistent with the tradition and practice of this August House. Seen in the past, in the preceding decades, ever since we were privileged to have our own state and own state legislature.